Dude, everybody, I've been using a Sony Alpha 7R2 for the past couple of years for photography, and since the start of the channel for videography. But I think it's time for an upgrade because Sony Alpha 7Rs are not geared toward videography, and I'm gonna mainly use the camera for videography from now on. And also, honestly, when it comes to photography, the huge pixel size is always an advantage, but it will give you huge font sizes that are hard to deal with. And I'm an amateur photographer and videographer. I don't need that big of a font size. So I think it's time for an upgrade. But what are my choices? The choices that I'm gonna go with, two of them actually I've borrowed, and one of them I've purchased, but if I end up not liking it, I will probably return it. I have the mighty Canon EOS R6. Of course, there's no way I can go with the R5 because it's way out of my budget. But I have the Canon EOS R6 with the kit lens, which is 24-105 f4 to 7.1, which I think is a very bad lens. I've actually tried it. It is not a very good lens. And you can purchase this for $2,799. I have the Fuji XT4, which was released in 2020, the same as Canon, with 16-80 f4. This is also the kit lens, but it's a small upgrade to the regular kit lens that comes with. This is 24-105 equivalent in full frames. We have the f4, and I also have the very famous by all Panasonic GH5 that was released in early 2017, so it's basically already 4 years old, with the Leica 12-60, which is also the equivalent in 224-105 or 120 in full frame f2.8 to 4. So these are my choices. But before moving on, before talking about the cameras and testing them, I just want to mention that, as you know, I just started my channel a couple of months ago. And of course, if you subscribe to my channel, it will go a long way. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, please share the videos with your friends so my channel can grow. And me and my wife are actually gonna be the main parts of the channel. We are mostly gonna focus on technology and travel vlogging. So this is going to be the purpose of the channel. But we have mostly focused on technology because of the COVID situation. So don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell icon, and also share this video and the channel with your friends. I would really appreciate it. So let's go back to the video at hand, the problem at hand. So as I was saying, I think I forgot to mention the prices for these ones. This is, as I said, $2,799. This is $2,199, and this one goes for new for $1,999. So they are not in the same price range, but the prices are pretty close in the camera world, at least. But this video is not only a comparison of these brand names, but it is also a comparison between the sensor sizes. GH5 comes with a micro four thirds sensor. Fuji comes with a crop sensor, which is a 1.5 times crop, and Canon is a full frame sensor. We already know that having a full frame sensor gives you some advantages, like getting better bokehs at the same focal length and same f-stops. Sorry, we are back. I forgot what the other advantage of having a full frame sensor was. The other advantage is having a better low light performance because it can get in more light because of the bigger sensor size. But having a small sensor size helps the manufacturer actually to pack in more features, as well as for a smaller price, for a cheaper price, as well as having a smaller camera in general. GH5 is not the smallest camera, but is very feature packed, especially for a 2017 camera. These two have better sensor technology because obviously they are 4 years younger, but this is still a very worthy competitor. In this video, I'm going to mainly focus on what I need from a camera. So this is not a very detailed comparison between the capabilities of the cameras or the technical details of them. And I'm an amateur photographer and videographer, so I don't know many of the details myself. So it is going to be mainly focused on my needs, which are autofocus capabilities. Canon comes in with animal eye tracking and human eye tracking, of course, and the face tracking. Fuji, the same thing, except for the animal eye tracking. GH5 only has the face tracking, so we're gonna see which one performs better. The second thing that is important for me is the image stabilization. All of these cameras have IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization, and also DIS, which is the digital image stabilization. We're gonna see which one performs better, and then the other three things are shared between photography and videography, but I'm gonna take pictures and like evaluate them. Dynamic range capabilities, image sharpness, the fourth one, and the fifth one is going to be the low light performance. But I think the low light performance Canon is going to pull ahead because of the full frame sensor, but the lens on it is the worst lens of the bunch, so I'm not really sure. So that's it. Let's get to the autofocus capabilities first, and we'll move on from there. GH5. We have Canon's picture here, we have Fuji's picture in the middle, and we have Panasonic on the right. They are ordered in the bigger sensor, two lower sensor order. So we have full frame, crop sensor, and micro four thirds. These pictures, all of the pictures I've taken are either in auto, or most of them are actually in aperture priority. I tried to lower the aperture as much as possible and took the picture. The reason I didn't do manual is because I wanted to see how good are these cameras in taking or processing the pictures on their own. And I'm an aperture photographer, as I've said. I usually do aperture priority, which is the case. Some people may get really frustrated. Some more professional photographers may get frustrated with this statement, but this is what I do, and I want to choose the best camera for me. So that's why I do the test on this. So from first glance, I can say that I really like the picture, the color quality, the color grading on the Panasonic. And these are not raw pictures. These are just JPEG out of the camera. I haven't edited them at all. I just wanted to give you an idea of how the picture would look like if you just want to snap a quick picture and like post it online or whatever. Yeah. So colors, I want to give it to GH5. The next part is the sharpness of the image. All of these are the same focal length, which is 24mm focal length, which means it is 24 on Canon, it is 16 on Fuji, and it is 12 on GH5 Micro Four Thirds. Again, I really like the crispness of Fuji here. You can see the Canon's camera is not crisp at all. It is very, I don't want to say low quality, but it is not a very sharp picture. You'll get the sharpest picture with GH5. You'll get the sharpest picture with GH5, but it becomes very grainy very fast. And the picture is grainier. I don't know what Fuji is doing with their pictures, but it looks to me like they have like touched the picture, like they have tried to soften it, and with their software. Canon's picture is soft. You get the sharpest picture with GH5, which is the Micro Four Thirds sensor, but it is very grainy. So I would say I want to give this quality test to GH5 because of the picture quality. But then on the next step, we have essentially the maximum focal length you can get with these cameras. picture with the maximum focal length. Canon on the left side, Fuji in the middle, and GH5 on the right side. I love the colors on the Fuji, on the Panasonic here on the right. I love the colors, but you can obviously see the difference between the larger sensor. We have f.4 on the Fuji and f4.0 here, f4.0 here. Same focal length. I think it is 80 on the Fuji. It is 60 on the Panasonic, but you are gonna get a hollower background with Fuji. It is mainly because of the fact that it has a bigger sensor. The picture we're gonna get on the Canon is much sharper than the other two. Look at the tree here, especially compared to the GH5. It's much sharper, mainly because the aperture is a 7.1 aperture. It's very disappointing that the kit lens they have included goes up to 7.1, but at the 120 millimeters you're gonna get f7.1. It will give you a very sharp picture, but you cannot get depth of field that you want to get. The picture quality, I want to give it to Canon, but the color here, I want to still give it to GH5. Next picture is the test of the dynamic range. These pictures were taken inside. This one is taken by Canon. You can see the outside very clearly, but the inside is a little darker. I want to say it has a good dynamic range because the light difference in the real situation that I could see with my eye was very different between inside and outside. And you are essentially looking at the dark room, which only lit by these Christmas lights, Christmas tree lights, and the lights here. This is the picture you're gonna get with Fuji. Whatever I couldn't get a better picture. It was very hard to change the focus to outside. I couldn't do it. It was very hard. It was very disappointing. Whatever they're doing with Fuji, I couldn't get the picture I wanted to get. And all of these are full frame 24 millimeters. The largest aperture I could get, which is f4.0 on Fuji and Canon, and f2.8 on GH5. Also, you have to keep in mind always that the f2.8 equivalent on the GH5 on Canon is gonna be f4.0 or something like that. It's a little higher than that, but yeah. And this is the picture you're gonna get with the GH5, which to my eyes, although these are the Christmas lights are a little darker, but you can see everything inside this picture. The same is true for Canon as well, but you're gonna get a hollower outside from Canon because the focus is on the frame. The focus is a little different, but here the focus is on the outside. So this test, the dynamic range test, Fuji definitely failed. There is no comparison here, and both Canon and GH5 did a decent job. And it is very good for GH5, which is a 3-year-old. At this point, is actually 4-year-old. 4 years old at this point. And the last image test is how would they do in a complete dark room. We have pictures of baby Yoda. This is a Panasonic's picture. This is a Fuji's picture, and this is the Canon's. Canon's has done the best when it comes to my eyes, when it comes to like lighting up the picture, but and you can see the focus is here a little, and I think my hands have moved, it looks like, or is it just it couldn't focus very well? I'm not sure, but you get not the best picture, but you're gonna get the best lighting out of the Canon, the most real lighting. Fuji's picture, it is very sharp, but it is awful lighting. The light inside the room looked nothing like this. And keep in mind that these are auto white balances. So I haven't changed the white balance. I should have for Fuji definitely, but I wanted to get the most auto experience you can get out of these cameras. So Fuji, definitely a 0 here, definitely a fail. And the best one you can get is a GH5, which is very surprising. I honestly thought I'm gonna get a better picture out of Canon, which I would say it may be a user error. it may be my error on Canon because the lighting is definitely better than the GH5. I think my hands have moved a little bit. Maybe I should have used a tripod here for this test, but both of these, the Panasonic and Canon, definitely passed this test. So at the end of pictures, I would say if you want to take good pictures, don't go with Fuji. GH5 and Canon will give you, at least will give me, good pictures. It has been a couple of days since I took the first recordings for this video, and I've been playing with the 3 cameras since then a little more. As you saw from the performance in the video, different parts of the comparison, Canon obviously pulls ahead. It doesn't have the best colors though. I think Panasonic gives me the best colors out of the camera, and keep in mind that all of those shots were taken on aperture priority, and I kept it at lowest aperture. And we could see the benefits of having a bigger sensor, like a full frame sensor compared to the crop sensor and compared to the Micro Four Thirds, which I have right here in front of me. This is the Panasonic GH5, the one that I purchased, right? And we could see the benefits of the full frame camera. But one thing that was very annoying to me was the user experience with Fuji. It was very hard for me. It was very hard. I'm an amateur photographer and videographer, right? So it was very hard for me to figure things out, and things weren't in place. The menus are very different from all other brands. So if you are moving from another brand to Fuji, there will be a deep learning curve. And it didn't have the best focus, as you saw in the dynamic range pictures. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it to focus on what I wanted it to focus on. So I gave the focus back. I gave the Fuji back to my friend who lent it to me at the middle of the testing, and after I shot all of the recording, at the rest of the testing, which I haven't included in this video, because I really didn't like it. I really didn't like the experience. I didn't like it. It was no fun. Like taking pictures, taking videos was no fun with it. And for me, it is just the battle between Canon and Panasonic GH5. Canon, of course, is $3,000 with a kit lens. Panasonic is also, this is a kit lens as well, but it is a premium kit lens, 1260 f2.8 to 4, which is the equivalent of 24 to 120 in a full frame camera. I don't know the conversion of f-stops, but f-stop is going to be higher, like 4 to 5.6, something like that. But this lens is made by Leica, so you'll get a more premium quality lens, and you can buy the whole package for $2,000 new. You can of course get it for like $1,400 used. But Canon, you have to spend at least $3,000 to get the absolute worst lens possible in the Canon RF family, of course. So I think at this point I'm gonna stick to Panasonic, because for my use, what I'm interested in, Panasonic GH5 does the job phenomenally better. It did the job, in my opinion, better than the Fuji. The technology is becoming a little dated, so I may get the Lumix S5, which is the full frame version of this camera, which came out in 2020. I may get that one and test that one and see how it performs. But at this point, for the next couple of years, I think I'm gonna stick with this camera unless I choose to go with S5. There is another option. I'm gonna make another video with Canon as well. It is possible. I'm thinking I have a very old Canon lens. It's somewhere on here. Let me get it for you. It's actually, it is a 3570 f 3.5 to 405. It's a pretty good lens, as you can see there. I think it's one of the first fixed lenses that the lens doesn't stick out when you change the zoom. I may test the Canon with this lens as well. I have the converter at the back right here. and see how it performs. If it performed like way better than the Panasonic, I'm gonna send this Canon back. This is my friend's Canon, so I'm gonna give it back to my friend and then purchase just the body for $2,400, and I have the 35 to 70 lens. I'm gonna stick to this for the next couple of years, see what happens. I also have a zoom lens 70 to 200. This is also an old one. It is right now, it's right here. It is on my EOS 650, which is a film camera. This is f.4, 70 to 200. So I'm gonna do another test with these. I'm gonna compare the Canon quality with the kit lens and these, and see how much better it is compared to the GH5. If it was much better, I'd probably stick to Canon. But at this point, I'm gonna go with the Panasonic GH5 because it gives me the best quality for the price, if you will. I mean, you can get if you want to get technical, you can do external recording 422 10-bit for the 4K 60 frames per second. And this camera came out in 2017, right? So it is a very good. It is still a very good camera, and this is what Canon can do as well. 422 10-bit 4K 60 frames per second, but that's an internal recording. That's the difference. So yeah, I'm gonna stick for GH5. It is a good camera. It is the best camera for my use. Again, I mean, you may have a different opinion. I'm pretty sure Canon has superior technology, is much better than Panasonic, but for an amateur videographer and photographer, I think this GH5 is the best choice. You are losing a lot of things because of the sensor size, but on the other hand, I can get a 25mm lens, prime lens with f1.7 for $140 new. So lens prices are much cheaper, or the equivalent to 2470, which is 12 to 35 f2.8 is gonna cost you $700 new compared to $2,400 in the Canon RF system. So everything is going to cost less with Micro Four Thirds lenses. That's a huge plus for me, and you are not compromising on quality that much. Okay, so that's it for this video for the camera comparison. At this point, I'm gonna go with GH5 again. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Also hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we post a new video. And see you in the next video.